Algebra OST Spring 2023 Least State Test Items number 9. It says this item has 2 parts. A company makes 2 products, product X and product Y. Some additional details are given. So product X costs $3.50 per unit to make. When you see that word per, think of multiplication, right? So right off the bat, I'm thinking that 250, right, is gonna, or that 350 is gonna go next to a letter, potentially X, right? But we'll see. Product Y costs $2.50 per unit to make. So again, multiplication. The total cost to make the company's products must not exceed $3,000 per week, and at least 1,000 total units must be made each week. Part A is as each week the company manufactures X units of X and Y units of product Y. Which set of inequalities represents the given constraints? So inequalities mean greater than or less than, right? And again, the words up here that talk about inequalities are not exceed and at least. So if the cost must not exceed 3,000, that means that it cannot be greater than that. So it must be less than or equal to 3,000. You must stay at or below that 3,000. Now that comes with the 350 and the 250 that it costs to make each product X and Y. So we put the 350 next to X and the 250 next to Y. Now the at least means you must be greater than or equal to that number. When you see at least, that's the smallest amount. So the smallest amount to be made is 1,000. Since we're just talking about the units, that's just X and Y. So there's your 2 inequalities. So we're looking for those inequalities as we scroll down. So let's see which one says 350x plus 250y is less than or equal to 3,000. So I see 2 that involve the 3.5x. This one says less than or equal to 3,000. This one says greater than or equal to 3,000. So it's got to be choice A. Okay. So look for those inequality words. All right. Part B says, okay, in 1 week, 380 units of product X are manufactured. What is the greatest number of units of Y that can be manufactured that week? So we're going to use Desmos here, the calculator. So right here, this is saying that X is going to equal 380. So if we take a look at the picture, we are able to see the answer actually. So if I go to the calculator, okay, so make it kind of smaller. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's type in our 2 inequalities. So the first inequality, I'm going to go back up, is X plus Y is greater than or equal to, those are found right here, greater than or equal to 1,000. And then we have 3.5x, 3.5x plus 2.5y is less than or equal to 3,000. I'm going to make this picture bigger. Now notice I see some blue shading, and when you have inequalities, you should see some shading. But let's zoom out because those are big numbers. And again, I'm going to drag it so that the origin keeps going to the left. So okay, there we go. Okay, so in an inequality, the shaded region must be here. Now you notice one thing as I graph this, that the top inequality is just oh no, they're both equal to. Okay, so good. Sorry, so I didn't notice. So this shaded region right here, this space right here, represents all the solutions, including the lines, because they're solid. All right. Now I'm going to erase that so we can see better. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to type in x equals 380, because that's what it says right here, right? It tells us that x equals 380, and I want to find the y value. So x equals 380. Now if I look there, and let me zoom in here. Okay. So if you look, this line represents producing x equals 380. Now if we look at these 2 intersection points, this is the lower intersection point. That would be a number that would work for y, 620, but that's the lower one. If you look at this upper intersection point, that would be the answer, 668. That represents if I were to make 380 of the X product, then I could make 668 of the Y product and still be within this solution. Okay, so that would be 668, and that'd be your answer. So using Desmos to help you solve a system of inequalities.